Hi everybody, this is Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today's video is about fiddle versus violin. Is there a difference or is there none? I don't know, let's find out. So first of all, where did the word fiddle come from? Well, it's theorized that it's probably some variation of the word fidula. It's a Latin word, and there's a lot of different variations of fidula in a lot of other languages, and since fidula was an early word for violin, eventually, fiddle and violin became to be used, interchangeably. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what is the difference between a fiddle and a violin? Well, let's talk about that. But first of all, please like and subscribe the video. I know I feel like a beggar every time I think there's a lot of good things that we put on this channel, and so it'd be good to, reach more people. Okay, so what is really the difference between fiddle and violin? Well, the easy answer is none. Okay, but there are a couple differences with the style of music that's played and perhaps more importantly, how the instrument is set up. Now, in terms of different types of music, well, it usually depends on what geographic region you're in. So in the United States, in the southernmost states, you're probably going to refer to the violin as a fiddle, and you're probably going to play different music such as bluegrass, country, Celtic, Irish, something like that. The other parts of the country, there's a higher probability it's going to be referred to as a violin, and then classical music will be the most popular, most commonly known music that's going to be played with a violin. Now, in terms of setup, there's two primary differences that you might see. They're by no means necessary or even common, but you may see them. Okay, so one is going to be the types of strings that are used, and number two, you're going to see differences in how the bridge is cut. So in terms of strings, a fiddler is more prone to use steel core strings. So the center of the string is going to be steel. So what does that do? Well, it gives you a stronger sound. It makes the violin more responsive, and perhaps more importantly, the string is more stable. So there's less of a chance that the string is going to change its pitch, in changing temperature or humidity conditions like being outside, right? So you want a stable string if you're playing outside. Now, you also have a stronger sound generally with a steel core string like D'Addario helicore strings or Prim steel strings. And this is helpful if you're playing with a group of people, especially if these other people are amplified, right? So you want your violin to be as loud as possible. Okay, so and then classical string players, if they're advanced players, they're generally going to play on a synthetic core string, has some kind of nylon core or something like that, because it doesn't have some of the benefits of a steel string, but they almost always produce a more complex, warmer, sweeter, whatever sound, right? So the classical musician might go for that instead. The other big difference would be how the bridge is cut. So bridges have an arch, right? And this arch creates a situation where you can play on different strings at a time. Sometimes one string, sometimes two. In rare occasion, you might play three. Well, a fiddler may opt to have that bridge flattened a bit so the arch is not quite as augmented as this is, or what you consider a standard arch. They might flatten it a little bit, and what that does is it makes it easier to play on two or even three strings at a time, which is helpful because a lot of fiddle music, you play in multiple strings at a time, whereas with classical, most of the time you're going to be playing one string at a time. So guys, those are the big differences. I hope I answered a few questions really quickly for you. And like I said, if you like the video, even if you don't like it, hey, like it, subscribe, and that lets me know that I'm doing what you guys want. And hey, if you guys have any questions, I answer almost all of the comments that are on the videos. And there's quite a few of them. I spend a fair amount of time doing that. So if you have questions specifically, just ask me. And hey, maybe I'll do a video on something that you have a question about. With that, I'll bid you adieu, and I hope you guys have a great day.